Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Apples and Ginos Fantasy Hockey Podcast. This is week 10 of Trade Talks. My name is Ryan, and I'm joined by Evan. Today, we'll be providing some trade grades on some real trades, highlight some players we may be targeting in some trades, and playing a game of Would You Rather. We will be missing our third guy in the trio. We'll be missing Brian tonight, but we'll still have a nice show for you. Here we go.
All right, everyone, let's get into it. How are you feeling today, Ryan?
Oh, I'm missing Brian a bit, but I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah, well, it'll be a contentious show, as we know. Brian's kind of the mediator between us and trying to reel it in, but we're steadfast in our opinions, I think, and we've got some good back and forth on that for the people.
Yeah, hopefully we don't agree too much this evening.
Yeah, missing Brian. We'll get him back soon. Let's get into the newsies here. So we got Hellebuck practicing. I don't think he was taking shots today, but it's good to see him back on the ice. Comrie has not been the best of late, and I kind of it was interesting. I feel like a lot of people were asking or scooping up Comrie really quickly, and I just kind of reiterated he's not Connor Hellebuck. The Jets are not as good as they were last year at generating offense and even defensively. They did get Neil Pionk back recently, which would help. But yeah, so Hellebuck coming back is definitely good. Joseph Woll has also been practicing. Hildebeest put up that shutout though, which was really nice. And I don't know, I'm sure you watched the game, Ryan. He just stands there in the net and he doesn't look flustered whatsoever, but he can because he's 7 feet tall. It reminds me of that commercial I always see with the walrus in the net, and he just stands there with the pucks getting shot at him.
Yeah, I mean, he is a giant, and he's definitely been leaky in the past. He's still young, but great game. And yeah, he might earn a few more starts if Joseph Woll even comes back. Maybe they're in a bit of a timeshare.
Yeah. Jacob Fowler also got called up. Montreal's goaltending is in a bit of a tailspin. Sam Montembeault has not really returned value this year of what people drafted him at, and Dobez's hot start has kind of fallen off as well. So it'll be interesting to see if this Jacob Fowler gets a few starts and can put together some good wins, and then how that's going to affect the remainder of their team, their goaltending. Pasta returns finally.
Sorry, I was just going to bring up Fowler in the AHL so far. Pretty good numbers, 919 save percentage, 2.09 goals against average in 15 games played. And I mean, they're gonna give him a look at least in one game, and I think it'll be do or die on that one game if he really earns an NHL job. So keep an eye, maybe pick him up as a speculative ad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Pasta is back. He gets 2 apples in his return. That can only mean that Morgan Geekie is going to stop scoring at an 80-goal pace. But no, the Bruins look good with him back, and he looks good, so that's good to get him back. Kyrou is now week to week, although they did say it was on the shorter end of that. They don't expect it to be a longer-term injury, which is good. Jordan Kyrou and the Blues as a whole have not returned value, but this hurts them even more because he's really their main shot generator outside of Dylan Holloway. And then Robbie Fabry signed with the Blues, and he's kind of been an interesting player in the past. He has decent speed and puck entry, and he shoots as well, but we'll see how he'd fit into the lineup there and see if they can turn any of those around. We got some comments here. Puckstud, hey guys, let's get into the comment. Swap Orlov for Klingberg at this point. Points include 0.25 for hits, 0.5 for shots on goal and blocks. I think John Klingberg is maybe the worst NHL defenseman to ever exist. So I would say no for this. It's only a matter of time before he gets scratched again or they try somebody else on the top power play. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I somewhat agree, but yeah, for now, Klingberg has the top spot in yesterday's practice, so I would rather Klingberg to Orlov. I think the ceiling for a stream is there, but this is just a stream, both of them, Orlov and Klingberg. You should be looking elsewhere if you want a really season-long D spot.
That's fair. I guess, yeah, if it's a stream for like a particular week, then you could do it just for a quick stream and then drop either way. I think Orlov has been decent, and he actually, like, when he's on that top power play, they look better, which is crazy. I've watched a few of the Sharks games, and he's definitely better at moving the puck. Klingberg has caused so many goals against. It's like a Evan Bouchard type picture on the defensive side.
Yeah. Klingberg's got the Kuzmenko role. He's just trotted out on the top power play and then benched.
Exactly. At Pecora 4206, which side would you take in these trades in Bangers Cats? Patrick Kane and Nuke for Fantilli, 1, and 2, Jeek and Nuke for Trocheck. In the first one, I would side with the Patrick Kane and Nuke side. And then on the Jeek Nuke for Trocheck, I think I would side with that as well. Jeek and Nuke. What do you say, Ryan?
Yeah, like these are 2-for-1s where the one does not have the best player in my opinion. So I'm agreeing with you here.
Yeah, I think Nichushkin is going to eventually get back the top power play and he'll go off. And definitely like Patrick Kane. And then I feel like Jeek and Trocheck are very similar players. It's just a schedule play at that point. Getting into the second part of the Newsies, Ryan, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. So Morgan Riley, he was spotted back on the top power play unit in the latest practice. Although he didn't participate in today's practice, but yesterday he was there on the top power play. So that's good news. Bad news for all you Oliver Ekman-Larsson owners. He might be a drop. And then Sam Rinzel, he is sent down to the AHL to learn some stuff and be better at hockey. But that is great news for Artem Levshinov, who has really secured this top power play role, and he might be there for the rest of the season. And he's turning into much more than a streamer with benefits. He might be a nice hold as your fourth defenseman for the rest of the season. Braden Point, congratulations. He finally gets his first multi-point effort. He's returned from injury, and he actually looks a lot better, and probably that injury was probably bothering him before he had some time off, and he looked great last game, and I think he's back. I think you shouldn't expect 60-point Braden Point. I think you can expect point per game point with close to a 40-goal pace the rest of the way. Do you agree, Evan?
I would, yeah. And it's unfortunate I couldn't snag him from you in our league. A nice trade before he came back. I was hoping to do that.
Yeah,
you're too savvy,
almost. Right? Before he went down with injury, I was like, what is happening? What did I do here? But he's back. And also in Tampa, Darren Radish is still on that top power play unit with Victor Hedman coming back, and Hedman's just on the second power play unit. We'll see how long that lasts, but that is worrisome if you're a Hedman owner. If this lasts all season, Hedman all of a sudden turns from a top 5 to 10 defenseman down to a top 25 defenseman, in my opinion. So don't panic yet. They've done this many times where they've given Hedman a rest on the second power play unit, and then he reclaims the spot. But for now, Darren Radish is on that top unit and worth holding.
Yeah, Darren Radish is a crazy waiver wire scoop at this point. I got him in a few spots, and I think you just have to hold him with the production that he's putting up. It's not going to continue this hot, even if he is PP1. But Hedman also was injured. He only played 6 minutes in that last game, and then he was out. And John Cooper said it was like, quote, like worrisome, or could be worrisome. So the fact that he already had missed time and then he goes out again, like that's definitely, yeah, it's not looking great for Hedman owners, but hopefully he can maintain his health. And even if Hedman is off of PP1, I still think he's very valuable. And like you said, Tampa does like to switch it up there, but we'll see what happens. So now we get into our trade targets, who to trade for right now. One of our favorite segments as we get into this. So my candidate here was Tage Thompson, Ryan. Only 2 goals and 3 assists in the last 8 games, and he had a goal and 2 assists in the last game. So really the bulk of that production came in his last game. This might be the only time all season that you could buy low on Tage Thompson. This guy is a proven 40-plus goal scorer in this league. He should be a point-per-game player. He's an elite shot producer. He's got 50 goal pace potential, I think, rest of season. There was kind of like some speculation from a few different people, including Nate and Blake when I watched their previous pod, that like maybe he was dealing with some sort of injury, which I thought could be possible given his slow pace and he wasn't shooting as much, but he definitely didn't look at last game. So there's been no reports of that. But I mean, Tage Thompson is the real deal. I think that you could, talk somebody into getting worried about him, especially if he has like another game or two with like minimal points or shots. His last 5 games, the underlyings weren't looking too good, but on the season, he's 7th overall in shots 4 per 60. He's 3rd individual Corsi 4 per 60, 3rd in individual expected goals per 60. This is an elite player, and I think that if you could get him at any type of value, I would definitely do it. If you got, like a Morgan Geekie for Tage Thompson, who's going to score, at a higher pace rest of the season, right? But yeah, I love Tage Thompson. And yours, Ryan?
Yes. So my trade target is JT Miller. And this, in my opinion, like I'm at this point in the season, we are just about a third of the way through, a little more than a third. And I'm looking at the playoffs. I'm making a plan for the future. I want to win this league. I don't just want to perform well in the regular season. And we want some New York Rangers to help us get that done because of the playoff schedule. If you look at week 22, which I implore everyone to do, Dauber Hockey has a great scheduler tool. So go take a look from March 23rd to 29th. You'll see exactly why I want JT Miller that week, which will be the semifinals in a lot of leagues that end early. And it will be the quarterfinals in leagues that go to the end. It's a dreadful week for streaming. Almost everyone plays on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and only a few teams have some off nights. But the Rangers are a rare team with the perfect schedule that week, playing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and it'll just be a great 4-night schedule to get your Rangers in and then clear up some slots for those heavy nights. And I would love to load up on some Rangers. JT Miller is one of them. And then aside from that, the week after, which is week 23, which will be the finals for a lot of people, or the semifinals, they still have 4 games played in that week. So just the Rangers have a great playoff schedule. And on top of that, I'm not buying people being down on JT Miller. His shot rates have increased in the past 5 games, and the Rangers power play has finally improved. If you're looking just at the last month, they are top 5 in the league in power play goals per game, and JT Miller is a big part of that. And actually, his IPP is slightly low on the power play. I think it will increase. So as the Rangers keep scoring goals in the power play, Miller will get many more power play points. I think in a lot of people's minds, he might be valued as a top 100 player, but I think he finishes the season as a top 50 player. So go out and get him, get that good playoff schedule, and I think take advantage if people are seeing him as a top 100 player.
Absolutely. Love that. I actually think, too, they switched the lines around in New York, and they're playing him with Trocheck, which I actually think kind of works a little bit better. They're buddies in real life. They both kind of do the same thing, but I actually like that. He looks like he has more energy out there, too. No more of that skating around, letting Vegas score a goal like we saw a few weeks back. I think he looks a lot better on the ice.
Yeah, I personally like just looking at the numbers, like the last 5 games, that line has been much worse in terms of expected goal percentage than Zibanejad and Panarin, if you're just comparing those two. So I would prefer Miller to get back with Panarin, or probably Panarin. Panarin is really the guy there that everyone, he makes everyone better. And I think Miller can get back to Panarin's line at some point.
Yeah. Either him or Zibby for goal scoring, realistically. Let's see. Comment-wise, Nightbane 420. Got a long one for you, boys. Currently lined up for the bye in the first place in my league at 8-1. Personally feel my team is stacked and can probably eat a loss or two if needed. The knee-jerk reaction to scoop up McDavid from a losing manager, as it felt like it might put me over the top. Gave up a 1st, 3rd, 5th round plus Yossi. Got McDavid 14th, 16th, and 17th. Currently building my team for week 23, then wing. The final week looks like Oilers play on heavy days for week 23. Makar might be on the market and might tempt the idea of trading McDavid for Makar. That's interesting. And see if I can get a third or fifth back. Week 23, I can get 3 extra games out of Makar, whereas McDavid just bumps out 3 of my lower quality players. And then he kind of goes into the details of the league. This is a long one for sure. Crazy to pull off. Cover your eyes, because here is my D. Sanderson, Sider, Taze, Riley, McAvoy. 12-team, 2-keeper, points banger league. With that kind of, so basically he's asking, like, should he trade McDavid for Makar? What say you to that, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm saying no. I'm saying good job. You got McDavid. You gave up the picks. You're going for the win. And good on you for looking at the schedule. But when you have Connor McDavid, even if he plays 3 games on heavy nights, it's possible he'll get you 9 points that week. Connor McDavid can do that. And as good as Makar has been and is, even with the picks back, like, if you're going for the win, you're going for the win, and you want the better player. You want to give up your picks and go for the win. So I'm all about, if you're in the running, go for it. Picks are not as valuable as things that are better for you to win now.
Yeah, I think you have to. Now McDavid's scoring too. He got a hat trick, and then he had 2 goals last night. He's dragging the Oilers, and I think you just got to roll with the best player there. Puck stud. Let's see. Which 4 are you keeping? Oh, sorry. Missed the top one. In a keep forever league, Kucherov owner is selling/rebuilding. I have to choose to keep 4 of Jack Hughes, Matthew Tkachuk, Werenski, J-Rob, Nikas, Jarvis, Carlson, Cutter, Gauthier. Cats includes hits plus blocks, plus minus blocks. Which 4 are you keeping? Who would Kuch knock out in a keeper league? So for me, I go Kucherov, Jack Hughes, Werenski, J-Rob, personally.
Yeah, I would agree if I had to pick right now, and yeah, I would definitely go for Kucherov, because even if you have to drop Matt Tkachuk out of your keepers, or Werenski, or J-Rob, or Nichas, like, Kucherov is the guy to go for there. I think at the end of the season, like, we might be talking about Marty Nichas being, a top 20 player. I think he's on like 117 point pace right now, and I think he can, it's not out of the question to reach 110 points with playing with McKinnon like he is. So he might be someone at the end of the season where you're like, oh wait, maybe I have to keep Nichas instead of Matt Tkachuk, or instead of Werenski, or instead of maybe J-Rob. We'll see if J-Rob can keep cooking like he is.
Yeah, Martin Nichas is the truth. He's doing it all game, every game. He was supposed to be ill, and he still gets 2 assists last game, so that's amazing. Played like 23 minutes. Let's see. We got another one here. I don't know how to say this tag, but we got the scoring categories for points there. Looking at an offer of Trocheck and Yossi for Forsberg. No brainer, or am I missing something? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know that I would do that, considering that Yossi is, probably in my mind still worth more than Forsberg, and then Trocheck's doing a lot of the same. I don't know that I would do that, Ryan. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure which side the commenter is on, but I would take the Yossi side. I think Yossi is the best player here at the moment. Forsberg's not doing enough for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Puck said, this trade went down in my league. Who won? Smith and Velarde for Bratt and Bertuzzi. 0.25 for hits, 0.5 for shots, goals, and blocks. I think you got to take the side with Jesper Bratt, personally. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, 100%. Bratt and Bertuzzi for some. Yeah. I think this this guy hit me up on X with this trade as well, and I commented with the same thing. You got to smash the Bratt side, in my opinion.
Yeah, agree. And then he followed up with, sorry, I'd be getting Yossi and Trocheck. Yes, then accept that
do
trade.
Do it. No brainer.
All right. Moving on to our trade grades here, Ryan. So trade number 1, we're giving away, this is in a points league where goals are 6, assists 4, power play points 2, shorthanded points 2, shots on goal 1, hits 1, blocks 1, PIMs 0.5, faceoffs 0.2. We're giving away Eichel and Hedman, and we're receiving Hagel and Zibanejad. And I would have to assume that this trade was made before knowing about the Hedman injury. But you give your grade, Ryan?
Yeah, I think it's before knowing about the Hedman injury, and even so, I'm giving it a D plus. I don't think this is a good move here. He did say he has 2 center onlys aside from Eichel in Larkin and McKinnon. He probably only has 2 center slots, so he wanted to clear some room from the center position. But Jack Eichel, like there's no reason to give away Jack Eichel in my mind. He's on pace to eclipse even last year's insane 100-point season or 100-point pace season, and there's no signs of slowing down for him. They are spreading things around a little bit more than they have in the past, rolling 3 lines, but Jack Eichel is still the superstar on that team, and Hagel and Zibanejad just don't replace that value for me at all. Even with there's some block points here, some shorties. Hagel and Zibanejad will help with that, but Eichel's the guy here, and I can't give him away.
Yeah. Yep. D plus for you. For me, C plus. I would not do this trade. Very similar reasons to you. The reason I gave it a C plus as opposed to a D plus is I do think Hagel and Zibanejad are good players to get in return. I just don't think it's enough, as you kind of outlined. I think Jack Eichel is elite, and I guess he I don't know if he's a Red Wings fan, but I would take Eichel over Larkin. So, I think that's kind of where my mind went as well. Next trade we want to get into here, Ryan?
Yeah, I think that's a great point too. Like Larkin might be a sell high at the moment. I think he is overperforming a tad. So get rid of Larkin and keep Eichel and McKinnon as your top 2 insane centers.
Yeah,
good point there. Even as a Red Wings fan, you'd get rid of Larkin, eh?
I think I love Larkin. I have him in a few spots, but yeah, like you said, he is overperforming to his standards. I think that power play still has more to give. I really like, their power play with DeBrincat, Kane. But yeah, compared to Jack Eichel, you can't,
Yeah. All right. Next one submitted by Pierogi23. We are giving away Rasmus Anderson and Dawson Mercer, and we are receiving Adam Fox. And while he submitted it, he was saying, could I give up less and get Adam Fox? Well, Evan, what's your grade? Do you think he can give up less?
I don't know that you can give up any less than that, to be honest. I guess if there's less than Rasmus Anderson, yeah, but absolute A plus, smash of a trade. If there's vetoes in your league, I don't know how this got through, but when players get injured like this, like Adam Fox, and you can go out and trade from, do it, especially for overproducing ones like Rasmus Anderson, and they're showcasing him for trades in Calgary. So yeah, great trade.
Yeah, I totally agree. Nothing else to really get into here. Like, this is just you're giving away garbage, and you're getting you're getting a top 10 defenseman the rest of the way when he comes back. So take that.
Yeah, love it. Our third trade here, category league with goals, assists, power play points, shorthanded points, shots on goal, hits, blocks, and then for goalies, win, goals against, save percentage, shutouts. Submitted by James. Giving away Hagel, Chychrun, and Wallstat, and receiving Austin Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk, and Jeremy Swayman. Ryan.
Yeah, so I like this trade a lot. I'm giving this an A minus. I wanted to give it a higher grade, but I don't think Austin Matthews is really like the buy low that he seems. I'm really actually worried about Austin Matthews as a top 10 fantasy player. I don't think he will finish that way this season, unless he really flips a switch, and maybe he's been hurting, maybe his back has been bad, and he flips a switch and then starts shooting 5 shots a game and a goal per game like the past. But I just haven't seen that this season, and I'd be worried about Austin Matthews. But still, you're giving away Hagel, Chychrun, and Wallstat. Let's just compare Hagel and Chychrun for Matthews and Tkachuk here. I think even with Matthews performing how he is, like, you're getting great value in Matthews and Matt Tkachuk here. So I'd take the forwards here, and I think you're selling high on Jesper Wallstedt, and maybe the buyer is valuing Wallstedt over Jeremy Swayman. I think Wallstedt is the top ranked goalies in the Yahoo rankings in these cats. And even in like my the true value consistency rankings that I do, like Wallsted's still up there as the third best goalie so far this season, just because he's been having absolute star weeks. He has 5 star weeks in 7 of his active weeks and just 1 really bad week. And Jeremy Swayman's been fine. He has a quality week in 67% of his weeks, and he's just had 1 really bad week as well. So I think Wallstedt and Swayman rest of the season in a Cats league. I think they're kind of a wash. Like I wouldn't really value one over the other. So yeah, I said a lot there trying to explain why I didn't give it an A+, but I still really like this trade.
Yeah, no doubt. I am giving it an A+. Everything that you said, I echo. I'm not quite as low on Austin Matthews, but I do understand your sentiment towards it. But yeah, anytime you're getting Austin Matthews and Brady Tkachuk for giving up, again, good players, but not like top 10 elite type players, I think you're winning. And so, like you said, selling high on Jesper Wallstedt, great move. Always want to sell high on a guy like that. But yeah, I think that you're getting 2 potential rock stars on your team, and that's a smash.
Yeah.
This next trade, you got it, Ryan? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, this one's submitted by Hap Day, and this one's an interesting points league where a goal is 1, an assist is 1, power play point is an extra 1, shots are 0.1, and a penalty minute is 0.2, and those are the only stats there. And this is a 1-for-1 where we're giving away Travis Konechny and we're receiving Robert Thomas.
Yes. And I give this one an A. And the reason being is that goals are worth the same as assists. And we all know Robert Thomas is getting assists over goals. But when they're valued the same, I like it. And I know the Blues aren't doing well. I know Robert Thomas isn't doing that well by his standards. But I think he's got more to give. And I think that the Blues have more to give. And we've seen it from their team specifically before as a second half bounce back. I really think Robert Thomas specifically, everything runs through him on that offense. They're still doing a bit of the split power play, but they're leaning towards more of a top power play, or they have. And I think if they continue to score like that, they should keep doing it. But I think, Konechny to me and the Flyers I'm very kind of mid on. I think, guys like Zegras are good on the Flyers, but look at Michkov, look at Konechny. I mean, their numbers are kind of down. I'm not that big on the Flyers. And I think that Robert Thomas, if you just look at an individual talent of a player and the ability to put up points, I think Robert Thomas is going to do that more than Travis Konechny rest of season. And he got 2 goals yesterday. He was on Hattie watch against the Bruins, and he never shoots. So that's kind of crazy. But he's got to keep doing stuff like that to prove me right. Ryan.
Yes, we found some disagreement. I'm glad. I agree with you with this point setup where Rob Thomas is actually very underrated in this league because of the lack of emphasis on any peripherals and goals. Shots are only worth 10% of a point, so it's not much there. So you don't even need heavy shot volume. And I was looking at my preseason points projections, fantasy hockey projections. I had Rob Thomas, I believe, at 77 points on the season, and I think I had Konechny at 75. And I had Rob Thomas in this format getting more fantasy points than Rob Thomas more than Travis Konechny. But at this point, I'm reevaluating, and I would rather have Konechny here. It's close because of the point setup. I think Thomas has more of a ceiling. But Konechny, he's on a 73-point pace, and all of the underlying stats look fine, and it doesn't seem likely that he'll regress lower than a 70-point pace, and I'm fine with that. Where Rob Thomas, it seems like a boom or a bust, where you're gonna hope that he returns to 90 plus points, but it's possible he doesn't even reach 70. So. Also, the reason I wouldn't do this trade is St. Louis has a very up and down playoff schedule. I believe they had a 2 games week in the quarterfinals in a lot of leagues, and then not very off night friendly as well. So I'm not doing this trade. I do see the reason to do it, and it's the upside, but I would just take Konechny's good floor and 70 points.
I think you bring up a good argument that Konechny is the safer player in this trade, I think. But I'm all about the boomer bust, baby. Give me Rob Tom to go off multi-point games like he did last year. He's gonna do it. We just got to give him time. But yeah, that's a good one for sure. Let's get back into some comments here. Puckstad again, trying to save my ads for the week. Have Tarasov from Sunday. Do I dare start him tomorrow versus the Avs? Yikes. Probably not, depending on your goalie setup, but I don't know. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, any points league, I probably would look elsewhere for a stream, and in any Cats league, you're hoping for one of those outlier games where the Avs just get goalied, and I don't know if Tarasov is the one to do so.
I will say that, in some points leagues that have decent points for saves and not a ton of weight on loss, like a regulation loss, sometimes when you're playing teams like Carolina or Colorado that just like shoot insane amount of shots, like that could potentially work out for you. But yeah, any team against like Dallas or Colorado right now, I'm kind of trying to stay away from. Cora 4206 again. What's your projection for Kyrou rest of season when he gets healthy? Would you take him or Patrick Kane in the points league? That is an interesting one, and I'd have to kind of see the setup, but I would probably lean towards taking Patrick Kane. I just think that, he's probably not going to score as many goals, but just based on health and that power play, I think I would take Patrick Kane. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I'd take Patrick Kane 100%. Kyrou has unfortunately not gotten ice time under Jim Montgomery. His per 60 numbers look great, but you need to get out there for more than like 16 minutes a night, which I think he's on for the season. So I'd be worried about Kyrou on like split power play, not a lot of even strength ice time. So give me Patrick Kane.
Yeah, they were playing Kyrou on a line with Rob Thomas. Can we somehow get in contact with Jim Montgomery and tell him how to coach the team? Because why can't they get Kyrou, Rob Tom, and Dylan Holloway on a line and just let them roll? That'd be nice. Wyatt Boone 5270. Okay, I'm in a dynasty league where you can trade your picks for the next year, and I'm really going for it this year. Tell me if this is a good deal or not. I get 3 14-round picks: Adam Fox, Kirill, and then he is giving 2, 6, 12, and Philip Forsberg. So he's getting 3 and 14, Adam Fox and Kirill. Yeah, absolutely. 2, 6, 12, and Philip Forsberg. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, 100%. Dynasty League, where I'm confused how there's so many rounds if it's a Dynasty League. But yeah, just face value here. You're getting Kaprizov in a Dynasty League. That's insane value. So I'm doing that in a second.
Heartbeat. Smash accept. Buxton, I'm stashing Monty for playoffs in a league. I'm crushing it. Do I drop Monty for Fowler? I got Vazzy and Greaves. I think I've said this before, but I think Sam Montembeault is definitely droppable. I don't know that, Fowler's going to stay there long term. I think you said it, like he's going to get his tryout here soon, get with the call up, but I'm not holding Montembeault in any spots.
Yeah, he's stashing Monty for the playoffs. Don't stash goalies for the playoffs. You don't know what's going to happen in the goalie landscape from now until the playoffs. You might be streaming Ilya Samsonov in the fantasy hockey playoffs. Who knows? Don't be stashing goalies at this point.
Yeah. Harry Belucky, Radish keeping PP1 all year. What do you think? I don't know if he'll keep it all year, but he's got a good shot right now with Hedman out, and he's an absolute hold for me until he loses that PP1 and stops producing, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's all dependent on Hedman's health, which we don't know much about. So I don't know about all year, but right now, looking good.
And Wyatt Boone clarified it is no keepers for his dynasty trade for Kirill. So that makes a little bit more sense.
Okay, still giving up just Philip Forsberg and getting Adam Fox and Kaprizov.
Yeah.
Do it. Go for the win. Get it.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Didn't change much. Head-to-head Cats League from Next Move 79. Traded Mercer for Ekholm. Is Mercer going to keep it going? Did I make a mistake? Cats League Ekholm gets decent periffs. I mean, if you need the defenseman here, like, great. Yeah, I don't think you made a mistake per se. Like, I don't think Dawson Mercer is going to, continue to be just like producing at the rate that he is. Like, there's, they're going to switch up the power play, I'm sure. And yeah, I don't have faith in Dawson Mercer as like a, much more than a 50-point player with some upside while he's on the power play. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I don't love Dawson Mercer rest of the season, but I also don't like Matthias Ekholm per se. I think both are streamer level. Ekholm, like, it depends if it's a deep Cats league, maybe Ekholm's helping you out in the blocks and a few hits here and there, but I don't know if I would make that trade because Mercer has been on the top power play lately. So yeah.
Yeah, for the short term, kind of agree. All right, you want to take us into our next trade here, Ryan?
Yeah, let's do it. We are giving away Nazem Kadri, and we're getting Logan Cooley and Raquel. It's a points league where goals are 6, assists are 4, 2 points for a power play point, 0.9 for a shot, 0.5 for a hit, and 1 point for a block. And just some context, he's in a bye position, so he's probably in first or second, and he has room on the IR. And the other guy has 5 guys injured, and there's only 3 IR spots. So he's taken Logan Cooley and Rickard Raquel from him, who are both injured right now. And he's given away Nazem Kadri. Evan, what grade do you give this?
I give this an A-. I like the trade. I think that Logan Cooley is the real deal when he comes back from injury. I think, Nazem Kadri is very potentially going to get traded, and I don't necessarily think that helps his value depending on where he goes. He's kind of top dog in Calgary right now, getting all the minutes, top power play. He's been doing a little bit more of late, probably trying to increase his trade stock, but yeah, I like Raquel when he comes back too. I think he's getting closer to a return, and I think that he could definitely be helpful as well. So I think if you have the IR spots to hold these guys for now, like when they do come back, they're going to be worth more to you than what Nazem Kadri would bring.
Yeah, I agree with just about everything you said there. I also gave it an A-. Rickard Raquel looks like he's coming back potentially this week, maybe even tomorrow. So that's good news where, okay, yeah, you traded for an injured player and boom, you can slot him right in there. I do think Cooley and Kadri are pretty similar in value in my eyes. Cooley has been taken off the top power play a bunch because he is not great at faceoffs there. They were trying like Kevin Stenlund to take the faceoff and then get off the ice for a bit, but Cooley has insane talent and has more upside than Kadri, so I like that. And then Rickard Raquel is cherry on top, where like he can provide great value, and if Pittsburgh holds on to them, they do have a 5-game week in the fantasy playoff finals for a lot of league and semifinals for a lot of others.
Yeah. Good stuff. Going into our 6th trade grade. It's a Cats league with goals, assists, plus minus, power play goals, power play assists, shorthanded points, game winning goals, win-loss, goals against, save percentage for goalies, giving away Cutter Gauthier and Jesper Wallstedt, and receiving JT Miller and Connor Hellebuck. Wow. Doozy.
Yeah.
Ryan.
This one, I'm giving an A. This is a great trade. Cutter Gauthier for JT Miller. I think, I don't know, it's pretty close, but I think I'd actually take, as much as I've been boosting JT Miller of late, I think Cutter Gauthier is the better pick here. Given the plus minus category, Gauthier has been crushing it at even strength, and JT Miller has not. Although there are power play goals, power play assists, shorthanded points where JT Miller might have an edge. So they're pretty similar. You're just selling high here. Yes, Jesper Wallstedt, and you're getting Connor Hellebuck. And in this league, wins, losses, goals against average, and save percentage, Hellebuck is like insanely valuable because the losses will come for Jesper Wallstedt on Minnesota, and Hellebuck is just much. He's the only consistent goalie. He's the only goalie I would ever trade for in fantasy, and this is a A for me.
I would never trade for a goalie. I just want to put that on record. What do you mean? You don't think Jesper Wallsted's going to get a shutout every game, Ryan?
He might.
Yeah, I give this trade an A+. Everything that you said, getting Connor Hellebuck for Jesper Wallsted is wild, but just goes to show how 0G you can work the wire for these guys and turn them into some value for yourself. And then, yeah, I still think Cutter Gauthier for JT Miller is kind of insane. Like, I really like Cutter Gauthier as a player. They're shifting to PP2, which I think is very strange. He should be on PP1, but he's still doing the thing. Despite his 0 shots and the 52 shots on goal Anaheim game, as we discussed off camera. But yeah, no, I love this trade. It's great.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into the next one, we do have a few more comments. We have a head-to-head Cats League, and we already did that one, Mercer for Ekholm. But another trade here. Someone just traded your boy Morgan Geekie away, and he got Kevin Fiala and Dylan Cousins in return. Do you like that return, Evan?
I think if you're trading away an 80 goal scorer, you got to shoot for the stars. So you take nothing less than, Nikita Kucherov, Cale Makar, no. No, yeah, I love the trade. Fiala is a great player, and I think that he's going to continue to boost his numbers. And then Dylan Cousins, we'll throw Brian in here. Despite Brian wanting to get off of Dylan Cousins, he still was on the top power play, and I think can provide value, especially in categories leagues. So, yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, Dylan Cousins looking great on a line with Batherson right now. So great trade. Good job. All righty. Trade number 7. We have a Cats League with goals, assists, power play points, shots, hits, and blocks. This one's submitted by S. Wood. Some context here. He needed help in hits and blocks. He's dominating a lot of other categories. He is giving away Marty Nietzsche, Rasmus Dahlin, and Matt Barzal, and he's receiving Austin Matthews and Elias Pettersson, the forward. Evan, how do you like this trade?
I do not like this trade. I'm going to give this trade a D, so I would not do this trade, and here's why. I'm going to go back real quick. I think if you look at this trade, I understand he wants to get some category coverage. You can do that in a few different ways, and you don't have to give up this much to do it. I think, as you kind of outlined, like Nikas is on pace for over 100 points. Like, you're trading away a 100-point player, to get. I guess, like, I look at it this way. I look at it as saying you trade. You could trade Dahlin and Nikas for Matthews, which I don't think is worth it at face value anyways. And then you're trading Barzal for Elias Pettersson. So Barzal for Elias Pettersson, sure. Cats League, he's going to get the blocks. He's going to get more category coverage. But Barzal's still getting decent points, and I think could be a 70-point plus pace player rest of season. But Nikas and Dahlin for Matthews. Dahlin just went off for 3 assists last night. He's doing the things. Dahlin is driving all that offense from the defensive zone in Buffalo. He's getting you category coverage as well. And then, again, Nikas for the points. I don't think that it's worth getting the upgrade in some of these categories for what you are giving away. And I wouldn't say that in a lot of 3-for-2s, but for this one in particular, I do. Ryan?
Yeah, I agree with you. Not as harsh a critic here. I'm giving it a C. I love Marty Nietzsche. I think there's no signs to point to like him to have a huge regression. I think he can reach 100 points, which is great. And Austin Matthews, I'm worried about him. The reason I didn't give it a D is because Austin Matthews might break like the forward record for blocks. He has 47 blocks in 24 games, and he might finish with 2 blocks a game, which is wild for a forward. And Pettersson also similar in that regard. He provides plenty of blocks as well. So if you are looking for the hits and blocks, Matthews and Pettersson will help on the block side, not so much the hits. I still wouldn't do this trade. I like Nietzsche and Dahlin too much, and echo everything you said about, Barzal similar to Pettersson.
Yeah, I think, he might break the block for forwards record, but I'd be concerned that if, one of those blocks, goes near his head, then he's going to have to head to Germany for a hair transplant again. So, his health with his hair concerns me a little bit. We're going to our 8th trade here. 16 team points. Goals are 2.3, assists 1.7. Some interesting numbers there. 0.1 plus minus 0.3. Power play goals 1. Power play assists 0.7. Shorthanded goals 2.3. Shorthanded assists 2. Shots on goal 0.3. Hit 0.3. Block 0.4. Game winning goals 1. And goalies punish bad starts. Giving away Timo Meier, Adrian Kempe, Scott Wedgwood, and Lev Shunov, and we are receiving Zach Werenski, Philip Gustafson, UPL, and Cole Perfetti. And
Yeah,
Ryan.
I'm up here. So this is a big one, big blockbuster here in a complicated points setup. But yeah, giving away Timo Meyer, Kempe, Wedgwood, and Levshinov, receiving Werenski, Philip Gustafson, UPL, and Perfetti. So in my eyes, looking at goalies, Wedgwood versus Philip Gustafson, I honestly think this is a wash. I think Wedgwood is just as valuable as Gustafson at this point on a strong Colorado team. He'll be in a timeshare when he's healthy, and I think Gustafson might find himself in a timeshare too, with Wallstead being so good. So goalies are a wash for me, and UPL is streamer level. He should probably be dropped even in a 16 team points league where it punishes bad starts. So for me, this trade is Timo Meyer and Kempe for Zach Werenski, and I think that's just too much. I think Timo Meyer is having a great season and really returning value and showing he could be really drafted in the 3rd or 4th round of return value, and Adrian Kempe similar. And Zach Werenski, he's doing what he was doing last year, and he's keeping on that point per game pace, but Meyer and Kempe is just too much for me. Some context, he is undefeated, extremely heavy forward roster with really no defense. So that's why he was going after Werenski, but he's given up Levshinov, who I think is a hold and a nice hold in a 16 team league. So be happy with Levshinov as a D. He's not just a throw in. And I think you're giving up too much here. So I'll give it a C+.
All right. I'm going to have to disagree with you, Ryan. I'm going to give this trade a B. So I would do this trade. And I think I think that Kempe and Meyer are worth it for Werenski. You're talking about a guy that's drafted in some cases the late 1st round, early 2nd round. You know, he's going to end up being a top 3 defenseman in this league. So you're getting a top 3 defenseman for 2 forwards that are kind of like, you know, middle, like fifth round or so. And he's got extra forwards and he needs a defenseman. I think you can do that. I do agree with you with Lev Shunov being a hold, especially in a 16 teamer. I also think that like Philip Gustafson and Jesper Wallstedt, I think this is going to even out. I think Gustafson's going to end up getting like 2 starts to the 3, you know, it's not going to be a 50-50. I don't think Wallstedt's going to continue this run. And I also kind of don't like, I know Wedgwood has done it for a bulk of this season, but I still think Mackenzie Blackwood's the better goalie. And I still think that kind of trends in that direction. We'll see. I think it's certainly possible that they both end up in a timeshare, but I would have more faith that Gustafson gets more starts moving forward than Wedgwood would. So I think that's where my mind would lie in that. Any rebuttal, Ryan?
Yeah, no, you bring up good points, and I just looked up Timo Meyer's stats, and he's on quite a cold streak of late. I thought he was firing lately, but yeah, Zach Werenski, it's tough. I don't know if you know, I gave it a C+. I was really close. Maybe you can convince me. Maybe if you throw in, instead of UPL, you know, throw
Something
in
else.
another goalie that is waiver wire worthy that isn't a Buffalo goalie.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, because it's really, you know, it's like a 3 for 2 there, really, when you look at it. But yeah, I'm a big Zach Werenski believer. I think a lot of people this year thought he would kind of fall back down to earth a little bit compared to what he did last year, at least points wise. But he's proving people wrong left and right, and getting smoked by him in several leagues has opened my eyes to that.
Yeah,
I didn't get him in any spots. I don't know if you did, Ryan. So I'm kind of salty about Zach Werenski.
yeah, I'm really happy about Zach Werenski. I drafted a bunch of him. I don't like. Not in any managed leagues, but in a bunch of best balls, I was really on Werenski in the 11 to 15 range. Very happy to get him there.
There you go. You want to introduce this segment, Ryan?
Yeah, all right. We're playing a little game of Would You Rather. So bringing up two players who are similarly rostered and similarly ranked, and we're gonna see which one we'd rather. Maybe we'll disagree here and have some nice chat. So first one we got Dylan Larkin with some nice flow as he warms up without a helmet, and Cutter Gauthier. Who would you rather? Evan, what do you think?
I think this one is easier than people would think. I'm going to take my captain, Dylan Larkin. I think it's just the consistency proven in year after year. I think, again, I said it earlier, the Red Wings power play has more to give. He has more to give at even strength too, really. And I just think that Cutter Gauthier is a really good player. It's a crazy story this year. But yeah, I don't think that his early season numbers, especially the goal scoring, is as sustainable as people might think. I still love him as a player, but between the two, I have to go with Dylan Larkin.
All right. I would actually choose Cutter Gauthier now. Gauthier has 34 points in 30 games. You know, they're on a similar point pace. Gauthier is a little hotter on a 93-point pace. I think Larkin's on an 85-point pace. I think they will have similar point totals at the end. I do think they'll both regress down to the 80-ish range. But Gautier's shots are just insane. Like 4 shots a game already. And I think that will continue, even though he had 0 shots when his team had 53 shots the other night. That was the only outlier. I think the shots are just insane and will be so valuable in a lot of leagues. So I'd go Gauthier.
Interesting stuff. All right, the next one. Brandon Hagel or Morgan Geeky? And I think you already know where I'm going to go with this one, Ryan.
All right.
No, I have to go with Brandon Hagel. As much as I love Morgan Geeky, listen, we have to put this out there. I know everyone in the fantasy hockey community is saying this is unsustainable. He's shooting 30%. He's not going to get 60 goals. Yada yada yada. Listen, Morgan Geeky is an elite hockey player. I know you don't want to hear that, but I'm saying it. And he is very clearly going to get 45 plus goals, 70 points this year. Book it. He's not going to continue shooting 30%, but he is going to continue being on the top line, top power play with an elite shot and very underrated. People got him in steals and drafts this year. However, all that to say, you have to take Brandon Hagel here. I did think that this, 90-point production of last year was going to come down without the top power play. But they have shown him in looks there this year on the top power play, and it's worked too. And then I think the other thing is they're playing Cirelli with Hagel and Kucherov on that top line. And that's really cooking as well. They're absolutely tilting the ice when they're out there, and he's a great rush player. I think he's for real. I think he's going to pace for at least 80 plus points again this year, if not more. So I'm taking Brandon Hagel all day.
Yeah, I was just hoping you might
you baited me with
here.
This one.
But you didn't take the bait. I agree with you. I'm taking Brandon Hagel. Morgan Geeky, like, good on him. Again, he'll regress down to maybe 20% shooting percentage, which is fine. That's what Hagel's shooting right now, which might be a little hot. So he might come down. I thought maybe you'd be like, yeah, he's not going to shoot 20%. But his on ice numbers at even strength, just it's insane. They have some of the best even strength numbers in the league with Cirelli and Kucherov at the moment. I believe like scoring chances per 60 is like on ice. His on ice numbers are 5th in the league. So really insane even strength numbers, but the power play, they gave him a look, but we'll see. They're against Brandon Hagel on the power play, which limits his upside. But I'd still much rather have him.
Yeah, why do they have Oliver Bjorkstrand who's just turning the puck over, hitting posts or the outside of the net when they could have Brandon Hagel scoring goals? Doesn't make any sense to me. John Cooper is a great coach, but he's trying to galaxy brain that way too much. This was really good bait throwing Morgan Geeky. And anytime someone gives me a platform to speak on Morgan Geeky, I'm going to praise him.
Yeah, I mean, like John Cooper keeping Hagel off the top power play. Hagel kills half of the penalty time on Tampa Bay, and like I think that's the rationale there. And maybe it makes sense in real hockey, but please, this is fantasy hockey. Please, like hire a fantasy hockey consultant for us, and just make Brandon Hagel a 100-point player by putting him on the top power play for 4 minutes.
That's what we need to do. That's our next step. We'll discuss it with Nate and Blake after the show. Instead of the Patreon, we need to be reaching out to these NHL teams to coordinate fantasy hockey consultants for the team. I think everyone would appreciate that. But yeah, I
like Jim, like the LA Kings could really use one.
Yeah.
The St. Louis Blues. I actually do think Nate and Blake, they sent a guy to Greg Gulletson on Dallas, and it really paid off for them. So
I mean, they're really doing it. Yeah, their power play, it's so lethal. Yeah, they did. And with the point of Brandon Hagel killing penalties, if you watch those Tampa games, Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli shorthanded, it might as well be a power play for them shorthanded. So, they're completely like taking the puck up ice and just killing all of it. So next one, another good one. Luke Hughes versus Thomas Harley. I'll let you go first in this one, Ryan.
Yeah, this one's close for me. Luke has been really up in his shots of late. We took him to court last week, and he really got his stuff in shape after being on the stand and hiring the best lawyer in town. And yeah, like Thomas Harley, there's no sight of power play one for him. He just came back last night. He had one shot on goal and nothing else. They're easing him back into it as his returns from injury. I do think Harley has tons of offensive talent, but so does Luke Hughes. And Luke Hughes is on the top power play here and there for some games when Keefe is not playing some weird games. So I'm taking Luke Hughes right now, but I'd be keeping an eye on Thomas Harley. I think he'll be dropped in a lot of leagues if he doesn't produce right away.
Yeah, I unfortunately have to agree with you here. It's weird because Thomas Harley, everyone was calling for him to. I think this was what it was. Again, we're projecting preseason. I can remember saying like, I'm not taking Thomas Harley anywhere because we don't know that he's going to get top power play. We all wanted that to happen because we saw what it did for their power play at the end of last year. But guess what? Miro Heiskanen is like Norris candidate right now. Like he's doing the thing too. So. And he looks really good, honestly. I think a lot of people forgot about Miro Heiskanen because of the prior two seasons, outside of his 70.1 a few years before that. But, I think what you're really looking at here is ceiling, right? Luke Hughes has a higher ceiling because he has at least a pathway to power play one. And with Miro Heiskanen, I don't think that Thomas Harley has that pathway unless Miro Heiskanen gets injured. And I think, if you look at it too, I had some interesting stats sent to me today. When Jack Hughes was in the lineup, Luke Hughes had 11 points in 17 games and only 4 in 12 games without him. I think there's something there. I think, the brother connection, could be real. And I think as soon as Jack gets back, the first thing he's doing is he's marching into Sheldon Keefe's office and he's saying, put my brother back on power play one or I'm walking and I'm taking Luke with me and we're all going to Vancouver to play with Quinn.
And then in that conversation, he turns around and walks into a wall by accident and gets a concussion.
I still can never stop thinking about that interview with the reporter to ask him if he wouldn't skate full speed into the boards. I was like, Ryan incepted, this question into the reporter's mind.
Yeah, he's like, do you think there's any chance you'd start changing your play to be a little more cautious about your body? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. And then he just breaks tables. I don't know what's going on.
Something. So, all right, the next would you rather, Pavel Dorofeyev or Val Nichushkin? This is an interesting one too. So I'll go first on this one. Man, if there was a equal option, I think this one might be close to it. I'm going to take Pavel Dorofeyev here. And I think the reason is because he has a more certain pathway to success. I think that spot for him on the top power play is assured. Even though he's fallen off from his insanely hot start, he's still getting some point production here and there. It's not what we want, but I think his ability to score on that power play is really, really what sets him apart. Even strength, I don't believe as much, but he's putting up decent assist numbers, especially compared to last year. Val Nichushkin right now is line 2 power play 2. He's still getting some goals, but I don't know what they're going to do. I think Gabe Landeskog is going to maintain that spot unless things really fall off, and then they need a boost on the power play. They'll put Val back up there, but I'm not sure if Val, once he gets up there, will stay up there. So it's kind of a revolving door with that power play. And number 2, we've seen it before. Val, number 1, gets injured. He has missed a lot of games due to injury in his career and some off-ice antics. So I'm not certain that Val is going to stay healthy, stay on that top line, top power play to get that value like Dorofeyev is. Ryan, disagree with me?
Yeah, I'll try. Val Nichushkin, I think when he does find himself on that top power play and potentially on the top line, like he's had games where he's been given the 22-minute treatment this year, playing on a top line in the top power play, and he can crush it. But those games are inconsistent, and who knows if it'll last all season as soon as he gets up there. Again, you bring up great points there. So I think at times Val Nichushkin in that spot, if he had Pavel Dorofeyev's deployment, I think there's no question it's Val Nichushkin you're taking, but the deployment is shoddy and inconsistent. So I agree with you. I'm taking Pavel Dorofeyev here. I would rather Dorofeyev. I think he was on a bit of a cold streak. He had like 4 games without a point, then just an assist, and then another goose egg. And he had like 0 shots against San Jose, who gives up tons of shots. And he had 1 shot against Chicago, and then 1 shot against New Jersey. And then the last 2 games, he has sprouted back to life, close to 20 minutes a night. He had 5 shots and no points against the Rangers, and then 5 shots and a goal against the Islanders there. His deployment is just, it's solid right now, even with Mark Stone back. He's on that top unit, and he's shown what he can do. And I really like Dorofeyev, even like as a buy low right now because of that cold stretch where he only has 3 points in his last 9 games. So I don't know. He might be a buy low, and I would rather him to Nichushkin.
Yeah, I did not think you were going to say that. That's interesting. Baited me again, but I agree with you. I think if Val had that top power play spot, it wouldn't even be a question. But Gabe Landeskog being back, producing, and healthy is tough as an obstacle for his deployment for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, as soon as Val Nichushkin gets back on that top unit, and we do this again, I'll be like, 100%, it's Val Nichushkin, especially since I own Nichushkin in our league here. But at this moment, I would rather Dorofeyev.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got a few more comments to get through before we wrap up here. How much FAB would you throw on Monahan? Just got dropped 14-team league. I'll leave that to you, Ryan. That's an interesting one. 14-teamer, maybe a little bit worth a roster spot.
Yeah. I don't know if I would do much fab there. Just like, he's not going to be a league winner. You don't need to blow your budget. And I think in fantasy hockey, you want to use all your fab at once, in my opinion, because it's rare that really good players get dropped. So, I mean, maybe $1, maybe nothing. Just pick him up on waivers and see how he does.
Yeah, I'll go $3. Triple up your offer. I do think Monahan has some value, but he's been streaky, and I thought there was something about how he was kind of playing through an injury. I think the coach had said like a few weeks back. I mean, he hasn't showed it. He looks good, but Fantilli's top line now, and so yeah, it's kind of interesting to see what'll happen there. But he still is top power play, but Columbus is so inconsistent, and I kind of have a beef with them right now because it's a Jet Greaves roster in multiple spots. I don't know why the Blue Jackets decide to not score when he's like out goaling the other team. But then when Merzlikins plays and lets up 5 goals a game, they'll score 6 or 7 goals. Can you tell me about that, Ryan? Can you explain why the Columbus Blue Jackets are doing that?
Yeah, it's to develop Jet Greaves into an elite goaltender, and not just a great one. It's to give him tough times, give him some losses, even when he plays great.
He is looking really good out there. I really think Jet Reeves is the goalie of the future for them. Really solid stuff. Puckstad again. Benson cooked ? I don't think so. Jason Zucker is now on IR and said we'll miss some time. And I think that Zach Benson is the top candidate to get to that top power play because Lindy Ruff refuses to play Alex Tuch on the top power play, no matter what. And he's Zach Benson's a good like net front puck battle guy. I think they have Josh Doan there too, but I think they should play him there, even if they don't right away. I think that he has that opportunity, and they were playing him on a line with Norris and Doan, and then he was previously on a line with Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch. So, what do you think, Ryan? Does he have any value?
I totally agree. He's not cooked. He's cooking. Might not be putting up the points, but his on ice numbers are great at even strength. That line of Norris, Doan, and Benson just have great expected goal percentage numbers at even strength. And then Benson did get, I think, 4 minutes of power play time in the last game when Zucker was out. He was in the bumper position when Josh Doan was net front, when Josh Doan did score 2 goals. But I think Benson is just a facilitator more and will pick up more assists than goals. So expect that, but I think it's looking good for him.
I agree. Corey 1980, Bangers points lead. Tage plus Boldy plus Hart for Timmy Stu, Hyman, and Schaefer. I would absolutely take the side of Tage, Boldy, and Hart. And yeah, that's like 100% smash. Like I don't know how you see it any other way, Ryan.
Yeah, no, you can't give up Tage and Boldy for Stützle and Schaefer. Can't do that.
Nope. Simon Hampton 2335. That Werenski one was my trade. Glad to see I submitted one you guys disagree on. It's fun hearing both sides. I do feel like it was a pretty fair trade. I think he's referring to the trade grade one with Gustafsson and Werenski, Timo, Kempe, and yep. And absolutely, man. Yeah, we are here to have that discussion, even though there is a right and a wrong. And you nailed that. You picked the right side. You got Werenski, right, Ryan?
Did I cave to a B- eventually? No, I think I still have a C+, but it was a fair trade.
There you go. Well, thank you to everybody for joining us. Make sure you get into the Discord, like, rate, review, subscribe, comment, send us your trades. We'd love to go over them. Join us here live every Wednesday on the YouTube. We'll go over some trades or questions as well. Ryan, you want to take us away?
Yeah, that's it. One last comment here. Just he's showing you some love here. Check out that comment. Larkin.
You gotta love it. My captain, captain.
Yeah. All right. That's all that we've got for this episode. Hopefully it brought you some value and helped you get a little bit better at fantasy hockey today. Many thanks to Matt Creamer for supplying the music for the podcast. Thanks for listening. Now go crush your fantasy hockey league.